Traders, Raghee here, and in this update we're going to talk about a very simple yet important step that a lot of traders leave out of their day trading approach, and that is sort of step number one, if you will, which is what's happening on the daily. Step one has got to be, what is the directional bias? And directional bias comes from the daily time frame. And so here we have a chart of the Dow. And there's a few things that we look at specifically on the daily to determine session to session whether I want to primarily be a buyer or a seller, or if I'm in a window where I could consider either side. This morning, based on what was on the daily, it was really actually time to look for the short side of the market. So if you don't like to short the market, which is perfectly fine, you would pass on setups on the Dow, because before the bell even rang, this was a bearish directional bias. And then even before the bell, we were getting certain signals that were telling us we were at resistance, and that until the market stops plotting the red grab candles and can break above resistance, the path of least resistance was to the downside. Well, let's do this for another market. Let's take a look at the other side of sentiment this morning, and that is the NASDAQ. Well, the NASDAQ has been, ever since actually the 3rd of June, this was a buy-only market. And while there is resistance overhead on the daily time frame, as an intraday trader, it was a buy-only environment. So imagine the advantage you have. Before the bell, you have confidence that you're on the higher probability side of the market, meaning you've started with step number one. You've looked at the daily time frame and you've determined the all-important directional bias. Now, there are actually 6 different things that I look for before I take this directional bias over to the intraday. And so once I've determined, all right, the directional bias is bullish, then it's very easy to start looking at signals like this for potential buys. It's very easy to look at support levels and lows to get long, and I won't be fading the market. I won't be looking to short into resistance, but rather look at moves lower as opportunities to get long. Now, sure, I've got different tools that allow me to determine what those levels are on the intraday, whether that be 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, but even before the bell rings, I've got that clarity, okay? And that all comes from the daily time frame. So really important step, and I hope that's something that you'll consider doing, looking at the daily for that path of least resistance to avoid being habitually a two-way trader and focus on that directional bias, which gives you an edge. And if this kind of stuff sounds interesting, yeah, Rog, I want to learn more about it. I've got a free webinar coming up on Wednesday, and yes, that does mean we have a class coming up. The webinar's on the 16th, sorry, the webinar's on the 16th, and the class is on the 26th. So go ahead and register. If you can make it there live, terrific. We do a lot of live Q&A. If you need to catch it on replay, go ahead and register, because we send out the replay pretty darn quickly after the webinar is done. So I'll see you on Wednesday. You can register at simplertrading.com/entry. It will be about how I'm day trading through 2021, where the tweaks are in this year versus last, and how we're using the daily. And for those of you that love patterns like Darvis and different Darvis related tools and tactics, Darvis has been a big edge, not only on the intraday signals, but on the end of day as well. I'll see you in the next update. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.